Well, hi there, you lucky person. You have found my channel, Life in the 1900s Newspapers, where I read the actual words from old vintage newspapers. Today, we're in the roaring 20s. We're in the sweltering days of August 1st in 1924 with a brand new newspaper for me. It's the Dallas Morning News from Dallas, Texas. While I read these articles to you, I put pictures and video clips that enhance the story, but they may not be the actual ones mentioned in the newspaper. Good thing tooth ached. Newark, New Jersey, July 31st. A severe toothache, which kept Mrs. Regina Korn pacing the floor of her apartment all night, saved 17 people, 11 of them children, from burning to death. While nursing her tooth, Mrs. Korn saw a blaze in the window of a tenement across the street. She rushed from her home, broke into the burning building, carried 2 children to safety in her arms, and awoke the rest of the tenants. When the firemen arrived, she went back home to nurse her jaw. Jock keeps his word. Boston, July 31st. Jock Malone, St. Paul scrapper, is a man of his word. He is. Several weeks ago, just before stepping into the ring with Frank Moody, English boxer, Jock casually remarked, "If I don't lick that limey, I'll jump into the Boston Harbor." Well, Jock didn't lick his man, and so Thursday afternoon, with 5,000 spectators looking on, Jock, fully clothed, jumped off the Charleston Bridge into the murkiness of Boston Bay. "Attaboy, Jock," the crowd roared as Malone made good his word with a 50-foot flapjack and then clambered into a rowboat. Thrill from hometown, Chicago, Illinois, August 1st. Owen Graham, who left his home in Waukegan, Illinois, 63 years ago to look for thrills and gold dust in Alaska, returned to his home to find the thrill of his life, a thrill greater than any furnished by the Yukon during 2 feverish gold rushes. It came when I looked at Chicago and my own town, which was only a village when I left, the gold seeker declared. And it came when I saw the automobile and streetcars and the tall buildings. Yes, I found gold in the Yukon, he said, but the thrill was here at home. Walks off with $750, New York, August 1st. While armed men guarded the unloading of a truckload of silver bullion in front of the Safety Deposit Company in the center of the financial district, a peddler picked up a 90-pound silver bar worth $750 and calmly walked away without being observed. He had gone several blocks, passing thousands of persons, before anyone noticed what he was carrying. Patrolman Brown, who arrested the man, said he was staggering under the weight of the bar. Bride is too heavy, Arkansas City, Kansas, August 1st. Charles Beery, Jr., said to be the son of a wealthy ranchman of Wenatchee, Washington, arrived here Friday to wed a girl with whom he had been acquainted through a correspondence club. "There is the picture she sent me," said young Gary, exhibiting the photo of a beautiful, slim young girl. "She doesn't look anything like that and weighs more than 200 pounds instead of the 145 she had said. She may have a kind and loving way, as she claimed, but that's just too much weight." Says Dallas people wander on sidewalks. The oldish man stood leaning against the marble counter. In one hand he held a glass of orange juice. He absent-mindedly blew across the top just for the sake of old times, as his right foot pawed against the counter, seeking a brass rail. "Funny people in Dallas," he remarked to the other man. "Oh, what's funny about 'em?" "The way they wander about on the sidewalks. You just watch them any day, or try to get anywhere in a hurry, and you'll find out. If you keep to the right, as you should, you'll meet hundreds of people on the wrong side of the walk. If you turn out, you'll collide with hundreds of others. The funny thing about these people is that when they reach a street intersection, they all stand in a row and calmly await the automatic signal lights. Occasionally, a smart young thing with an overload of lipstick will toddle across, hoping that she will be seen and paying no attention to the frantic whistle of the traffic cop. But as a rule, Dallas people like to observe the signals. But it's in the middle of the sidewalks that they forget their manners. Between the signal crossings, along the long blocks, they meander about like a brook in a meadow. Particularly if a man or woman has children along, then you might as well take to the gutter. The best place in Dallas to visit seems to be the middle of the sidewalks in the business section. In such places, hundreds of groups may be seen, daily chatting away, with the stream of traffic eddying about them. Another place to watch for politeness and manners, which you will not discover, is in the long plank tunnels built by the contractors before the big excavations where the skyscrapers are being erected. The builders make the passages wide enough for two, but if you have the misfortune to meet a woman or so in the tunnel, you might as well turn about and beat it the other way you came. I was in Chicago not long ago. There they paint a long white stripe down the middle of the sidewalks, and pedestrians are expected to keep to the right of the mark. Dallas, big as it is, has some little town habits, and this lack of knowing how to get along the sidewalks is one of them. It is about as consistent as a full-grown man would be if he wore a baby's lace cap instead of a man's headgear. Looks to me, but a scantily clad young thing with her hair bobbed and a neck shave, that was the latest throb, with silken garments waving in the breeze from the electric fans, crowded the oldish man from the counter. In the 1920s, it was popular to go to vaudeville shows. At the Melba Theater, starting Sunday, Pantages, big-time vaudeville featuring Earl Fountain and Cliff Dixon in Wigginsville, rural comedy with music. Also, 5 other big vaudeville acts. One of the most famous women in vaudeville acts was Ann Pennington.
From the south, where it's good war. Step aside, or you'll fizzle with a heat. Yeah, that's right, full of pride, done it for
Shake your head, follow through to your fingertips. Shake it, do the wiggle waggle woo. across the aisle. But your improvement has it beat a mile. Shake it, shake your head, follow through to your fingers. Shake it, to the wiggle waggle woo. Love that woman comes across the aisle. But your improvement has it beat a mile.
In camp or at home, you can't beat Kellogg's Corn Flakes for a breakfast treat. Only the genuine have that flavor. Get Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Buy a 6-box for convenience. Drop in at a grocery store or refreshment stand and get one. Coca-Cola. Ooh, I want to go. Excursion to El Paso. $15 round trip via the Texas T&P Pacific Railway. Friday, August 8th. Leaves 8:10 a.m. 2 days in El Paso. For particulars, see the T&P ticket office, 114 Field Street. Will ends today's newspaper today with a bit of wit and humor. The next best thing. Sydney Bulletin. Oh no, they're not really engaged, but she says he's got an engagement ring in his voice every time he kisses her goodnight. Tut tut. Judge. Customer, I want to try that chemise on in the window. Blustered clerk. Why, thank you for your kind offer, madam, but we are very well suited with the display we already have. Needed it from the Wisconsin Octopus. Bill's mahjong game improved wonderfully about 10 o'clock. Yes, he got his second wind.